Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Adobe XD Challenge. I'm your host Jesse Showalter, and it is an awesome and amazing Thursday to do a little bit of Adobe XD UI design, UX design, some fun stuff. So join me, won't you? Let me know if you're in the chat, where are you coming from? What are your plans for this weekend? This weekend is coming. So with that being said, if you don't know much about the XD Challenge, let's talk about it. Let's check it out real quick. Make sure that you sign up for the XD Discord. That's where you actually get to post these challenges and get feedback from our mentors and from other designers and creatives, and kind of find that community, as well as signing up at behance.net/challenge/XD. Hit the big blue button, follow the steps, get your starting files right here. Today we're going to be building a ticketing app design, and speaking of that starting file, here is your starting file. We got Voodoo Val, who's moderating in the chat, and let me know where you're coming from, everybody. Let me know what your weekend plans are. Here's our starting file. Again, we're going to be building a little bit of a ticketing app, or as I like to call it, a fast pass app for a water park, because summer's coming to an end. Those nice temperatures are going to go away pretty soon. Get out to that water park before it's too late, right? Have a little bit of fun. That's our prompt, and you can see you have some inspiration down there in your resource booklet to flip through if you want to. And we have some starting artboards. We're going to start on this artboard on the right here. We did a little bit of this work yesterday. We're going to do a much better job today by creating our interactive map. Let's just zoom in, because this map actually it's pretty large, and it has a lot of different locations in our water park. And this application is going to be, pretty fun, pretty bouncy, very family friendly. We want to do that. So let's start there with that fun, bouncy, family friendliness by first taking our shape here, our little triangle shape. I'm going to soften it. Everything's going to be very soft. I'm going to move it up and like kind of onto our little shape right there. And then I'm going to grab both of these, and I'm going to use my Boolean tools here. I'm just gonna, or Pathfinder tools like you would see in something like Illustrator. I'm just gonna add those together. So when I press add, it becomes one shape. We've created one shape, nice and easy there, but we can still do a little bit of work on the individual elements here. See how we have our rectangle and our polygon? We could take, that's actually a rectangle turned into a circle. I don't know why I did that, just for fun. Let's go ahead and head into the fill. Let's go to a radial gradient. On the outside, we will pick our same pink color, but let's lighten it up, and let's actually do it the other way around, shall we? Let's just pick that there, and we'll take this light color, make it white, and we'll take our radial gradient. Let's just move it. Let's move it up a little bit, shall we? We're going to take the center of that gradient and make it look a little bit more like a balloon, like it's got a little latex balloon action going on there. That's kind of fun. And then we'll add just a little bit of drop shadow onto our numbers or our letters or our typography there, so we can see it. And I'm just going to fix that a little bit more, because we want this to be just subtle like this, and move it up into the corner. I like that. We're just getting this nice fun kind of shine, like a latex balloon shine. And we'll take that little fella, and we're going to call this, we're going to group it together with the layer on top, the text layer, and we're going to call this balloon, right? Let's call it balloon, just like that. And now we have what we can turn into a component by hitting Command or Control K. It's become a component that we can always find Command Shift Y on a Mac, and you can head over to your components panel, or your document assets, and there we have our little balloon. I think I spelled balloon wrong. It's usually with 2 L's. That's all right. We will add it right now, which is kind of cool. Could always go back and fix that up. Okay, so we're able to take our balloon, and I'll actually delete this off here because I like to only work with instances. And we'll put it on top of one of our attractions, like so. Now, yesterday we had some map issues, and we'll do better with our maps today, because we're going to create a scroll group, and everything that's inside of the scroll group will actually be able to scroll together. But before we do that, right, we have our component. We're going to need to create a default state, right? So before we actually create our balloon, I'm going to delete that whole thing right there, and we're going to just have our shape here, or our little element. We're going to want to have 2 states on it. We're going to want to have like a toggle state. One of them is going to be the normal inactive state. The other one's going to be the tapped or clicked state, where we actually expose some information, right? So we can either actually, I think what we'll do is we'll actually keep that as a component, and we'll use this little pull-up drawer to expose all the information for that individual ride, right? So let's go Command Y, we'll go back to our layers, take our balloon, move that down, so that our little drawer here like sits on top of everything. That's what we want. So we'll scoot it right back down there. Pretty cool. And then, that'll be kind of fun. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my balloon and I'm going to grab my map in the background. And I don't have to group them together first. I'm just going to grab anything that I want in there. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on my scroll group. And we're going to use a horizontal and vertical. And Adobe XD is really, really smart. It kind of like sized it per what was on the screen. But we do have a little bit of like a light overlay in the top. And it was like trying to be careful of that for us. But that's okay. We'll pull our map all the way to the top there. We'll pull it all the way to the bottom. That is our scrollable area, right? And our balloon is inside. So if we press play right now, we should be able to actually scroll around inside of our map and those balloons stay there. Now, I do think really quickly, we do want to add an active and inactive state, or excuse me, like some little kind of toggle state to our, let's see, this is an instance. So we want to right click and we want to edit the main component. Let's create another state, our toggle state here. That's right. Okay. So with our toggle state, what do we want to do? How about we just come in here? I'm going to actually grab like one of the shapes that's inside, like for instance there. I'm going to grab our actual like shine, and I'll move the shine like up to the top of the balloon. I'm going to take this, my little tail fin, I'm going to pop it up, giving it a little bit more space, and we'll take the text and the balloon here, and let's see, we want to grab that and move that up. So we just want to like expand this balloon a little bit. Okay, so there is our toggle state, there's our default state. So it's just going to kind of move up and down, and that'll be pretty good. Now, what we want to do is, before we go anywhere, let's head over to our prototype tab, and you can see that Adobe XD is already wired in interaction together, right? So we have the baked in prototype interaction of our toggle. So it's going to say, hey, on tap, let's look at it really quickly. I'll get myself out of the way here. On tap, we want to auto animate the toggle state, right? Good. We want to ease in, ease out. I tell you, it's kind of like a family friendly, maybe even a kid's application. So why don't we do something like a snap at 0.3? That could work really, really great. Okay, so with that being said, we should be able to zoom out and go back to our application, and we should be able to press play. Let's rename this and call this map. We'll call this list, just so we have some control over our artboards here. Press play. We should be able to, on tap, see that? Actually press it, and we'll get some sort of like interaction between the two. Now, I don't love that gradient change. It's not the best. So we might go back in there later, or we might go back in right now and just fix it up. So I'm gonna head back to my design tab, and we're just gonna take this, whoop, and kind of move it back over. So maybe it expands, and maybe that'll look good. Let's see. Back to our active. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. We like that, all right? So just a little bit of playfulness, stretchiness. It's like a balloon's going wah, wah, which I'm kind of into. Okay, we got Jack Watson in the chat. Haven't been able to make the XD Challenge streams lately with work. That's cool, Jack. We are so happy that you are here. All right, I'm gonna get that master component off of my canvas, and let's actually create let's create a couple of these, right? So we can actually take another one of these, and where do we want to put it? Let's put it over there on that guy. And the reason I'm not going off of my canvas is because all of it is grouped together. So as long as I'm keeping elements inside the group, they can all kind of expand and go wherever we want them to. So where do we want things? We definitely need to mark the wave pool, you know, right here. And we want to mark this pool right here. And maybe this is like the parents' cove where they can like escape for a little bit. And these times on them would be like the wait times, right? So let's say this wait time is going to be like 90 minutes. And ooh, let's go back. We're almost there. We're getting back into it. I'm just going to hide that top section right there. This one right here is going to be like really chill. It's going to be like a 10-minute wait or something like that. Let's do another one over here and call this like a 15-minute wait. And that last one can be 45 minutes as well. We'll bring our top bar back just a little bit. I'm not really thinking we need the top bar right now. All right, so pretty cool. Now we can press play again, and you can see you have all sorts of little guys there. And if we click on it, oh, we'd have to go in and change the, obviously have to change the toggled state for the text, which we can do, but we'll leave that for now. Okay, so with our map set, what we want to be able to do is have a secondary one here where we actually pull up the information. But first, let's design a little bit of layout for our information to actually sit in. This is our ticket card, and I think something that could be kind of fun to do. We've already used the Boolean tools to add. How about we subtract and we make this thing look a little bit like a ticket? Like I liked some of our inspiration down here that had some of these kind of like cutouts for a ticket there or cutouts for a ticket here. So why don't we do a little bit of that? That's really easy to do just by using our subtract function. So I'm going to hit E for an ellipse and drag an ellipse out. I'm just going to fill it with black so I can see it. And we will take that and the actual card. I'm going to find the center of the card just like so. And all I have to do is just drag these things halfway off so they're just matching halfway like that. And then let's go ahead and subtract. It kind of punches it out just a little bit. You don't have to do it, but it's a fun little feature, right? Is this Jennifer Poole says, is this for Planet Zoo? No, it's for a very generic water park. That's what we're doing. So now we can take this thing, you can see it sliding up and over, which is kind of nice. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. Okay, so once it's up like this, very cool, we would be able to then let's add some layout stuff inside of here. Okay, I'm going to copy my text from inside and I'm going to paste it right here. Whoa, that is weird. What we just did right there was very weird. So let's instead make sure we're staying inside of our ticket group and hit T for text. This will be easier. What do we call this one? The turbo slide, something like that. And it's hard to see because our text is white right now. Why don't we actually pick a nice fun color? We have our two colors from our color palette, but let's just make this one a little bit bigger. All right, so I'm going to put that right there for our turbo slide, and let's do something in that pink color below, and we're going to add a little bit of contrast through size and weight. So let's drop this thing down to something like light, or maybe light's a little too light. Maybe let's find regular. There it is. And then we'll drop the size of it down. If you want to build a typographic scale, you can do that. A real easy way to do that to add immediate contrast is just to do a little division by 2, like I'm doing right there. And now you start building a little bit of an impromptu typographic scale. We'll call this one very extreme. And let's make both of these pieces of text left-hand aligned. And we'll just line them up here. And maybe we'll put even a little fire next to it, right? And if you're wondering how I typed emojis, I have a little plugin on my computer called Rocket that allows me to do that, which I actually really like. It's really fun. It's totally not necessary, but it is nice. Okay, so that's an extreme slide. We got to give it a rating, obviously. See how we're using a lot of fun colors here for this? It's fun for family-friendly stuff like this. Let's give it a 4.8 rating, and we'll bring the size of this down a little bit. We are still left-hand aligned, and let's grab our polygon tool. It looks like a triangle. We'll draw that there like so, and then over in our options we actually get to dictate how many sides our polygon has. So we'll do something like that, and we could round the corners a little bit. Okay, that could work. So you can round them like that. You can also bring in the sides there by grabbing that node. And again, if we want to soften the edges, which we do because this is a nice bouncy playful kind of vibe here, let's give it a yellow, nice soft kind of pastel yellow. Okay, I'm going to zoom out and we have our star. It's a little bit big, right? So why don't we just shrink it down a little bit, and it's the contrast on it's not great. So let's tip a little bit more towards like the gold kind of star. That contrast is a little bit better, methinks. Okay, I'm gonna hit Command R for repeat grid, and all of a sudden I have 5 stars. It's a 5-star ride. That's right, folks. You heard it here first. 5-star ride. And you know, you could do some fun stuff here if you wanted to like really edit this. You could grab it just like so. Command C, Command V. We have another one, and let's just bring the opacity of it down. And for this one, you could just cut it back in half and just drag it right into spot, like into its place. Now it's kind of like a 4.5-star ride, right? So we'll grab this, group it together. Let's grab these two things and group those together. And let's see, we'll put it right about so. And then let's put an actual image of the ride, shall we? So I'm gonna grab a rectangle And I'm just going to round the corners because it's a bouncy, fun, family-friendly deal. Let's fill it with a color for now so you can see it. Command-Shift-P to open up our plugins. We have Photo Splash 2 open, a great plugin to just select. This is a roller coaster. Let's do a water slide. Can we get a water slide? Do we have those? We sure do. Look at that. So let's do something like, ooh, what's a good water slide image? Yeah, I mean, all these are fun. Let's do that one. That's a great one right there. I'm going to apply that photo. Boom, it pops right in. Let's do a little bit of drop shadow just to pop it off and give it a little bit of dimensionality. All right, Command Y back to my my layers panel. And what I love is when you insert images, whether you drag them from your desktop or you use something like a plugin like Photo Splash, they're all kind of like filling the container and they never get all wonky and warped, which is really, really cool. Love that about Adobe XD. I'm gonna just bring it up a little bit here. And why don't we do need some typography and some iconography in there. So we have something like the wait time. Let's grab that. And then how far away from you it is. Let's grab these two icons. And we're almost done here. We'll be able to kind of bring this whole drawer into alignment here. Whoa, it's a little bit funky sometimes when you try to size down our icons. It's because it's using a stroke. So if we really wanted to, we could take object, path, we could outline the stroke. Now when we shape things down or size things down, we don't have the stroke staying at 2 pixel stroke width and then everything trying to close up, which makes everything bigger. So that's a nice fun little hack. If you're like, how do I shrink these icons without making it just blow up and be massive? You just go path, outline that path first, all right? And that'll take care of it for you. We're doing a lot of blue and pink, so why don't we actually... We have to grab our icon here and our icon there. Let's take our color, bring it down to a nice chill kind of gray color. All right. And our clock is a little bit big. It's funny because it's actually the same exact size, but it's one of those optically unbalanced things we were talking about in one of our past challenges. So why don't we take that icon and we'll just toss it right here. And what I love to do is I'm going to use something like stacks for this. So I'm just going to come down here, zoom in, paste our text. All right, let's put something like this is like 500 meters away from you. Watch this. This is going to be really, really fun. We'll use our blue again. We will group them together, Command G, and then we will turn on stack, and we can now control the spacing right in here. So let's do it maybe at like 4 pixels. And what's great is like, look, I can take this other one, and we can make sure we take our icon and all that kind of stuff and line it up perfectly. So let's get rid of this. We could take our icon, our little stack right here, and we can Command X just to get inside the stack, paste it. Let's paste it right here. Oh, you can go vertical and horizontal inside your stack, so keep that in mind. But look, I just entered in a brand new thing inside the stack. And then this one's about what, like a 45-minute wait. So we'll just bring that down to be 45 mins or 45 min. Okay, cool. And you can put stacks, you can do stacks on stacks, right? So we could, for instance, we could take these two and we could have stacked them together. Okay, now that gives us some information to work with. Why don't we put that information right about there? And why don't we actually take our image and we'll cut it right there. And let's bring, look, we have a button. So bring our button in. Let's group that together. I was going to make a component out of it, but maybe we're not sure about this button yet. So we'll bring it in. And look, we'll stretch it out so it reaches the edges of our design and we'll center everything together. All right, with that being done, we have the starts of our kind of little card UI that's going on here. I'm going to bring this a little closer to the top. I'm going to grab all of these elements that are not the map, right? We don't want, here's our ticket. Should all be in one except for our button and some of these last little items. So let's make sure we grab those and pull those inside of our ticket, inside of our layers panel. Boom, we have our ticket like so. Okay, cool. So now what we can do is we could create like variations of these. We could turn it into a component and then like switch them out if we wanted to. So let's take our ticket and turn it into a component. Very cool, awesome. And if you wanted to, you can create like all these fun nested components, right? So you have your map and you have like this element, but why don't what we'll do is we will Command Shift Y, bring up our document assets. I'm going to bring in one of those tickets. It's going to sit down here at the bottom and it's going to be ready to to pop up for our number 1 there. You could also do these just really easily. You can just interact with each one of them individually. So for instance, go to the toggle state. Okay, and what we can do is we can say in our prototype tab, hey, when I click on this guy, drag it over to our next one, we'll say, hey, on tap. Let's look and see what we can do really quickly here. Okay, so we have that toggled state, command Y. Let's go back here. We're working inside of our scroll group. We have all of our balloons right there in the top left, right? We should be able to, this is on tap, right? So the hard part is you can't do 2 of the same interaction. So we have a couple options here. We can take it off of the component, or if we want to, because all this is inside the scroll group, we can hit E for ellipse. Let's go back to design and hit E for ellipse. We can draw a little bit of an invisible tap point on top of it, right? And we'll just bring the opacity of it down, and we'll label it tap point inside of our layers panel. Okay, we could do the same thing here. There's our tap point. Beautiful. Okay, so now when we come to prototype, we can actually say, hey, on tap, I want you to auto animate to map 1, and we'll call this not map 1, this artboard, we'll call this ticket. I want to bring that ticket and slide that thing right up into place, and it's going to just turn over to be the other version of the like the toggle switch here. And okay, and these things are sitting, our ticket is sitting on top, right? And so what we want to do is, why don't we take our ticket here and we'll actually drag back. We'll say, hey, on drag, I want you to auto animate back to map, and we don't have to worry about the easing for that one. So let's go back to our tap point. We have snap going on there, and let's grab our artboard and press home, and it turns on our little flow marker, which tells us, okay, this is where our flow is going to start. Perfect. We'll press play, and again, we should be able to drag around like this, no problem. We find the one we want to mess with, we tap it, it pops it up into place. But look, the good news is we can still drag around, right? So what does that mean for us? That means if we want to, if we're getting real spicy here and we maybe want to have something going on up here for like the wave pool, we can do that, right? Why don't we do another one? We'll call this ticket dash slide, and this one can be called ticket dash wave pool. Beautiful. And all we would have to do is let's see, we're gonna get all of our elements, and we'll just watch out now. Let's hide that top bar, lock it into place. Let's grab all our elements, our tap point, the balloon, and the map, and let's just drag everything manually down. So it's no matter where you're at, if you tap on it, like it's gonna get us over to in view the wave pool, right? Okay, beautiful. So the wave pool is right there, and now all we got to do is refill it with our plugin. So let's go, let's do a pool here. Let's find a nice pool to pop in. Can we get one? Does it give us one? Aha, there's a beautiful pool. Let's just use that one right there, and this one will say wave pool. Very nice. Okay, something like that. We'll be able to get our fast pass. And let's come and try that out. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's press play again. Again, we can hit here, and now we can drag back down. Should be able to drag back down. Oh, I think maybe we did a little something wrong here. Let's fix it instead. Let's take our tap point and go back over. Try that again. So we should be able to tap it up and tap it down. Oh, go back, would you? Little bit of funkiness here. What are you doing? On tap, not on drag. Auto animate back to the map. Here we go. Let's tap it down, tap it up. There we go. So we have the two different versions. We can still drag up, find our wave pool, and we need to figure out how to get that here like this. Good. We can come over here and pull up our wave pool. Well, a little bit of funkiness there, but you get where I'm going. I'll have to work out some of those little components and interactions. You could take this whole thing and set all the states of everything, the ticket, the map, the bubbles or the balloons, and then make that into a component and make multiple component instances or states of that and just toggle in between the different states. That's another way that you can do it, right? Somebody said Jesse is the turbo slide. Gus Martin. Hey, Gus is in the house. Close your eyes. Voila, you have an app. Hey, we're just having fun here. We're having a good time on the XD challenge for the day. So I would love to see yours, and maybe even think about, as you're working on your XD challenge, maybe think about what a supporting screen might look like. Instead of looking at these elements in a map view, maybe we could actually toggle over and look at it in some sort of list view inside of here. So I'd love to see what you guys come up with for something like that. Have lots of fun with it, and of course, always enjoy yourself. That's it for the day. Hope to see you right back here tomorrow on the XD challenge with me, your host, Jesse Showalter. You can find me on social media. Reach out if you have questions about this challenge. Make sure you jump into the Discord, meet up with our mentors, and meet up with the rest of the community there. But have lots of fun on this fine Thursday. We will see you right back here tomorrow on Behance. Stay tuned for more Adobe Live content. See you around.